I now like to call this latest edition of the Kiwanis Connects show to, I think I broke my mallet.
Oh
Show to
no!
order. Yeah, I know. It was a little loose. Anyway, welcome everybody. It is high noon here in the East Coast, 9 a.m. there on the West Coast where Doc Val is hanging out and everybody out there. I need a bigger bell. Yeah, you're not kidding. Thank you for joining us today, making us part of your Friday. Today's the 10th of January. Listen, we know that there's some serious stuff going on the West Coast out there, and all of our thoughts and prayers are out there with all of you. We'll get to that here momentarily. We want to thank everybody for watching on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's great. Don't forget, Roku will be up there in a couple of days as well. I give you the phone number to call, but the problem is John is running stuff out of his home studio today, so you can't call. But as always, our chat rooms are open both on Facebook and on YouTube. So please communicate with us. We want to hear from you as well. And of course, Doc Val's joining us from her safe part in California. How are you, my friend?
You know, I am better than most. And as I look out my window, I don't see snow, I don't see rain, and I don't see fog or smoke. So
All right.
I know I'm blessed at this point in time.
For
And
sure.
absolutely. And
Geographically, how far are the fires from where that is to where you are for people who, like me, are ignorant about the geography of California?
we talk in hours, so it's 5.5 hour
Okay.
drive south of where I am. And so if anybody's familiar with California, the 101 freeway goes from where I live all the way down to the middle of Los Angeles. And so if
Mm,
I were to take the 101, it's 6.5 hours.
gotcha.
Um, and so it's about 280 miles.
Okay. John, I know you're back there. Hello, John. I want to ask you because traditionally, whenever there's wildfires in California, a lot of times that smoke will make its way into the Vegas Valley. Are you guys seeing any of that out there?
Not yet. No, we're not seeing smoke, but we are getting alerts that the state of Nevada is supplied by with gasoline and diesel from two
Mhm.
major pipelines coming out of California, and so they're telling everyone, "Hey, fill up your car now." Uh, there may be, there's no panic at the moment. Everything's cool, but there may be, depending on what happens in the next couple of days, an interruption in gas supply.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I saw that in
you
the
know,
news yesterday on my MSN
yeah,
alerts about that.
and
How
and
about
I
groceries and things?
yeah, I expect we'll start seeing some smoke here in the next day or two. It's that's a, I mean, it's just a huge area that's on fire. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You're
Um,
from that area, John, aren't you?
yeah, I actually lived in L.A. for most of my young life in Hollywood, and I have friends from Palisades Park and just all over the valley. And yeah, I got friends there now that are just they're safe at the moment, but they're all packed up with their get and go bag and ready to head out. So yeah, it's nasty, man. It's just nasty.
Yeah,
It's unfathomable. I mean, I certainly can't imagine it, but not that I want to make a bad situation comparison, but the people there now whose homes are devastated and whose cities now and towns really no longer exist. Val, you could probably get a good sense of this. This is almost like what the folks in Hawaii must have felt like a couple of years ago when Lahaina went underwater and we lost that island, right?
absolutely. And one of the things that's absolutely devastating about this is that people are having a little bit of PTSD, because some of the folks in the LA area had second homes, or
Mm,
they have family that suffered through Lahaina. So now here we go again, and our communities are so intertwined, that it can't help but be emotionally devastating. And when you talk about a landmass for Los Angeles, most people see almost everything between Santa Barbara and San Diego as Los Angeles.
hmm.
Um, but the reality is that within a 30,000 acre um, territory, that's most of what is really downtown Los Angeles. And you have millions and millions of people that live in the what's considered Los Angeles. And just getting all the phone calls and hearing all the updates about freeways being closed. and people not being able to get back to their homes, people not being able to get from here up north um, back to go help support their people
Right.
because the main corridor is the I-5 that goes all the way from Southern California all the way to Washington. Um,
Hmm.
and there are parts of that freeway that were completely shut off.
Wow.
And so a friend of mine who lives in El Segundo, Michael Early, was here and he was trying to race down to LA, got all the way to 14 miles from the Grapevine, which is the top of the, you can see my green screen, got all the way down to 14 miles before the top of I-5, and they turned him around. He had to come
Wow.
all the way back up to an area, as he said, go 2.5 hours back north to take another set of freeways to be able to go down south.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
so
It's now I'm wearing my Mickey Mouse Disney shirt in honor of everybody out there. That's why I've got Disney on today to keep everybody in mind there. All right. I know we have some things. Guy John.
I just wanted to point out something that I thought was pretty important and pretty cool is that
Right.
we have firefighters and first responders from Mexico and Canada down here helping the people of LA.
Virginia's on the way. I saw a
Yep.
news article that some folks.
So is Nevada. Yep.
Yep.
yeah,
So we got East Coast
Washington,
firefighters.
yeah,
Yeah.
Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico. We haven't heard anything, as far as I know, from Texas, but people are on site. And I know, John, if you could put up that one slide for people, that would be great. The first one we were talking about. Yesterday this was the data that was out there, and a lot of people have been calling, going, "Are you okay?" And the reality is that um, all of this is centered down in the Los Angeles area, and these numbers have just grown exponentially. Um, as of this morning, there are 11 people that have died between the 5 fires that are happening. So you look at, it's kind of a ring of fires starting from the coast and going through to the east coast or eastern part of Los Angeles and a little bit south. And so during those all of these wildfires, you're looking at Pasadena, you're looking at Altadena. So we were at the Rose Parade, and a number of structures that were a mile, actually 2 miles away, are now gone. If you're a Frank Lloyd Wright fan, you're going to be in absolute mourning because a number of the Frank Lloyd Wright historical buildings are gone. Even Pasadena High School, which is one of the largest high schools in Southern California, had to deal with fire damage.
Hmm.
Um, it's extraordinary.
Have they?
And
What was the cause that sparked all of this? Is anybody reporting what caused the spark?
no, they are not reporting at this time because but they believe that it has to do with the Santa Ana winds, which are high heat winds that zap all of the humidity and moisture out of the air. And if there's already dry fuel, there can be sparking that goes with that. And
Wow.
so that's what's they're hypothesizing is what actually has caused this.
Wow.
Now, this used to be what caused our fire seasons. In California, you used to have a season that was fire, like there's tornado season and there's hurricane season. We used to have a fire season. Now it's all year long at different parts of the states at different times. But the Santa Ana winds are notorious for causing fires in Southern California.
Well,
And
isn't it? They haven't had any significant rainfall there in like 8 months, so all of the vegetation there has been dried out, and I think that part of one of the things that I heard, that one of the things that could have possibly sparked fire was tree branches and things that were making contact with power lines and
yes,
causing sparks, and then with everything being so dry, it just poof. So
absolutely. And it's a tinderbox. I mean, it truly becomes a tinderbox because you're looking at less than 5% humidity in an area that's used to having 28 to 40% at this point in time.
It's what I find interesting on that slide that John just had up there. The one number that stands out to me in a positive way, that for as much devastation as this fire is showing on the news and what we see here, only, and I put the word only in big ass quotes because I know it's going to change, only 7 confirmed deaths. That seems to me be a very lucky low number thus far. So either the city did a great job.
Actually, it's 10, but you're right.
Even
Even 10 is, yeah.
So the city's done a great job thus far. It sounds like getting warnings out for evacuations. People have been heeding them. People are not doing silly things to put themselves or family in jeopardy. So hopefully this number, even one loss of life, is terrible. But when you consider the destruction, that only 10 lives have been confirmed thus far, that is still a very small amount given what we're seeing.
Absolutely. I think a big part of it is, and I chalk it up to my buddy Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles. She has one of the most amazing communication teams I've ever seen for any city or town I've ever been in. They work endlessly, and they tap into all their resources to get information out and get things moving. She also makes some snap decisions that have upset people that later on will come back to bite her. But the reality is, folks, that city has responded. And one of those things was that a number of people on Sunset Boulevard near the borders in Pacific Palisades just left their cars abandoned in the middle of the road, took their keys, and ran.
Jeez.
When they got caught in the traffic and they panicked. And so what ended up happening is absolute gridlock, where the bulldozers were given the call and said, you can bulldoze these cars. And so the images that we're seeing on the local channels, you're looking at Audis and Mercedes and all the high-end cars that are basically getting bulldozed over to the side of the road. And insurance is not going to cover that.
Right. And that's not undifferent when a car is blocking a fire hydrant and the firefighters bust through the glass to get to the hydrant. I mean, it's a shame that listen, fight or flight mentality. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to do. And I can understand panic being there, that when you're just going to drop the keys and run. Do you have any other information we want? Go ahead, John.
Think of it this way. All right. Your car or your life. And that's a decision that the mayor made. She thought that lives were more valuable than cars.
And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely love her. And so we actually wanted to make sure that folks know what resources are available. There's a lot of information out there. Some of it hasn't been vetted. So I wanted to make sure that we share some of the assistance for Californians that are dealing with this. And so families who are far away, who can get to these folks that don't have access to cell, or they don't have access to power, but they can actually figure out how to call on landlines to get these resources to people. Because down in LA, some of the power outages and things are going all the way out to the desert because they're on an extended power grid. So I know we have a second screen, and I'll go through it really quickly. You'll see. And so Planet Fitness is allowing for showers, Wi-Fi, charging stations, and you don't need a membership. California Renters Association has agreed to work with Airbnb. And so there's temporary housing, 1 week housing for free for people who have been displaced. This is not for people who have been priorly homeless, but people who have been displaced due to the fires. Both Uber and Lyft are giving free rides for evacuees. AT&T is providing unlimited talking and texting. So if you can get a signal, you can communicate out. And there are some local restaurants that are providing meals. And the reason why I share this is because if you're out there and you're trying to figure out, how can I help? How can I have $25 and I just want to help. I'm in Maryland. I just want to help. If you look at those 3 restaurants that are giving free food to evacuees and first responders, you can go online and find their Venmo, you can find their Zelle, and send them $25, because that's going to cover some of the meal cost that they have, because these are mostly mom and pop restaurants that have stepped up, and they are seeing hundreds of people come to their door. And so that would be the most immediate great use of your resources. And if you can't find your loved ones, there are a number of evacuation centers that are listed. And so for those of you that are just listening to this, they're all over the place in Southern California. The Westwood Recreation Center in Westwood. You can look this up. They accept animals. The Pasadena Convention Center, and that one is full at this point in time. So we're redirecting people to the El Camino Real Charter High School, and that's in Woodland Hills, which is north of LA, and then Pierce College, which also is accepting large animals, because some places can't accommodate anything over 35 pounds.
Right.
And so those are really key. And we have a number of older adults and people with special abilities or special needs. And so there is a website that people can go to that are affected by the wildfires. And so if John can put that put that email address or the tagline in the crawler, it's disabilitydisasterorg/get-services. And so these are, if you are in a wheelchair, you need extra assistance, you normally would get special rides. This is the place to go, because there are a number of resources. You're not left out in the process. And that's really important. And Aaron, I appreciate that you're giving that we're doing that, because my kiddos actually hosted extended family in their home for dinner last night. Even though they're in a free hotel, they said, come on over and hang out so that you can just feel normal. And so that was, people are doing things out of kindness. And I think that's how we're going to get out of this process.
Yep.
But the Cal Neva District and the Cal Neva Children's Fund has responded immediately. And part of that is because I think Kiwanians are at their best when situations are at their worst. And so the Kiwanis CNH, Cal Neva Children's Fund, has put together a disaster relief process. And I know that we have that slide, and it actually has a QR code. So if you want to be a part of the long-term, and or you want to, as a club, you want to make sure that you're helping people that already have the other parts of the assistance, you can actually, as a club in Northern California, Nevada, or Hawaii, get a disaster grant to help provide whatever you're providing. Like the Kiwanis Club of Huntington Beach is putting together comfort care kits. It's not the stuff you get from the food bank. It's not the stuff you get from the Army National Guard that breaks out wonderful scratchy blankets. It's the stuff that makes you feel good. And it'll include chocolate, because chocolate goes a long way.
Absolutely.
So good.
Absolutely.
100% of the donations that go through this donation channel goes directly to disaster relief and disaster relief grants for these fires. It's like when we had the Lahaina's fires and recovery. All of the money that was given, there was no administrative fee charged on top of it, which a lot of nonprofits do just to keep viable. But for disaster relief, there's no administrative cost. It goes directly. So
the slides that we've been showing, I presume you have them up on the Kiwanis Connects Facebook page, or available for people for immediate resource to go check out.
I have been putting them up there, but I'm going to put them up there all together after we get off the show, so that people can go and pull them down. Share them widely. This is open public information. And so absolutely.
And of course, people can always go back and rewatch the beginning of the show. With that, though, we are running a few minutes late, rightfully so, because all that stuff is good. We haven't even gone over what we got planned for today as part of the. I know we haven't even talked about that. Gary Jander is going to be joining us here momentarily. We'll have Val talk about that on the other side of the break. When we come back, though, we're going to share a little mental health moment We're going to do that a little bit early, figuring with all that's going on, we can all use a little breath of fresh air. Then, of course, we have Val's wow moments. And, of course, waiting in the wings. There it is. I'll try my best to bring a laugh to everybody, no matter where they are. You're watching Kiwanis Connects with Doc Val and yours truly, The Voice. We'll be right back. Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of 29Palms.com.
For over 100 years, the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade has been a New Year's Day tradition enjoyed by millions of people around the world. Over the years, Kiwanis International has been represented with beautifully decorated floats that share the Kiwanis story and mission. The Rose Float Project is organized by the California, Nevada, Hawaii District of KI and the Rose Float Club of Pasadena, but we need and rely on the support of all Kiwanians. This year's parade theme is The Best Day Ever, and the KI float will be named Being Together. Whether you are in Southern California or anywhere in the world, we invite you to be a part of this amazing experience. Join us in person to decorate the floats. Support our effort by purchasing merchandise or making donations of any size. Become a friend of the Rose Float or join the Rose Float Club. To learn more, visit us on the web, on social media, or scan this QR code.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. I don't know if Kathy Zemansky is watching the show today, but if she is, I'm giving her a shout out. Kathy, we'll talk after the show. If you're okay, there you go. All right, is Gary joining us yet? What's Gary's ETA?
There he is.
There he is. Look at that. As if on cue, but he's got to take himself off mute though. Otherwise, we're not going to hear him. And I don't know if he does mean Marcel Marceau or not. I don't want to take that chance. So, Gary, how are you, buddy? Yeah.
I'm really good. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning attending Kiwanis International board meetings. We're going to be solving all the world's problems, and we're not going to tell anybody. But it was a good meeting. So happy to be here. I saw the segment about the smoke part. I mean, the smoke is toxic. It's burning buildings and electrical wires. So it's affecting everyone, not just those in Los Angeles. It's down here in San Diego. My air filters are running full blast. So any of you out there in the Kiwanis Connect world, if you want to contribute, I'll give you all the connections to do that. And we certainly do need your help now and long term. So there's my commercial. Now I'm at your disposal.
Okay, now we need to send him a bill for $350 for his commercial and $50. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah. Well, I'll forward it to KI.
There you go. Kiwanis Youth Development and Support Club, San Diego, California. The website, kydssandiego.org. Very unique concept of a new club, right, guys?
Well, it's not new. And that's the amazing part. That's why I really wanted Gary to be here, because it is one of the jewels in the crown of all of Kiwanis. And very few people know about it. And so, Gary, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to add the numbers, but I think we just celebrated our 15th anniversary. So we're in our 16th year of being a club. In addition to that, I believe there are about 10 other kids clubs around. I'm not sure on the numbers anymore, but we're trying to open them in every district across Kiwanis International, because I'll give you a little story, a little background about Kids Club and how it came about. A good friend of mine named Dan Rogers, who was the regional advisor for Key Club. We were sitting around at a Key Club convention, and we continue to hear these stories about these 16-year-old kids collecting thousands of dollars, putting them in a shoebox and putting them under their bed. Or these 16-year-old kids signing a contract with a bus company for hundreds or thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of commitment. Why these people would sign a contract with a 16-year-old is mysterious to me. But then the money disappearing, and people going to these key clubbers' parents and saying, "Hey, you got to make this right." And we just didn't think that was right. And we realized that it really was just a support issue. It was a training issue. These young students are very smart and they understand math and they understand accounting, but they needed to be taught how to manage it. And so we said, we'll put together a club. And the whole point of the club is to provide a legal entity to help at that level, at the lieutenant governor or above level, so that we could take money in and put it in an account to draw interest. We could teach them how to do a budget. We could teach them how to request payment for the things that needed to get paid. The money would be safeguarded and the students would learn. And we also wanted to include that, say, hey, well, Circle K has the same issues. So we included that in there. And then we said, well, we have other service leadership partners, K Kids and Builders Clubs and Action Clubs and others. So we developed a support system for them to help them raise money. And we house that money. We have a foundation and we house that money for them, and they make requests to use their money, and we help them make sure that it gets expended the way they want it expended. And there's some fiduciary connection there. But so that's the concept behind it, is to provide that level of support to our service leadership partners. But we're a Kiwanis Club too. And because we're a Kiwanis Club, we have other service projects that we've reached out in the community, working with foster kids and other kids-related issues. And we do get a little bit of pushback. Our biggest fundraiser of the year is the Kids Club Wine and Cheese. And we have to make sure we remind people that no children are involved in this. Everybody's over 21.
Armed in the making of this party.
Right. So there's no children in the kids club. It's adults. There's a daycare center or something, I think in Las Vegas, called Kids Club. Mm-hmm. And so we've spent some time talking to them about making sure that there's no connection between us. But anyway, it's a great concept, and I would love to see other districts start looking at this on that level. I will say this, that we don't sponsor any service leadership programs because we want to stay above the level of clubs, and we want to encourage clubs. And one other thing that's developed over the 15 years is we've now become advisors to clubs on how to best support their key clubs. So we'll conduct training classes on what key club is and what it needs, and to help train clubs to be better sponsors of key clubs. And now in Calneva, the OG Kids Club, as we call it, is now taking on the fiscal responsibility and partnership for Key Club, District Key Club, and our District Kiwanis Key Club, and helping them manage money for their district conventions, because they have sponsors now and they're bringing in large amounts of money, and we sort of help them in that fiscal responsibility. Actually, I take that back. Kiwanis has its own. It's called Goldstone. They're doing that for the Kiwanis organization. We're doing it for the Cali Navajo Key Club. So it's evolving, and I'd say to each district that it's an opportunity for you to help provide support at that level. And you can, I know you guys are going to ask me some questions in a minute, so I try to prepare. But you can reach out to me.
Trying to answer them all, so he doesn't have to get on the hot seat.
Well, that's what you're paying me to do, right?
Oh, wait, we're paying you?
Right?
I'm like, wait a minute, you get paid?
I was going to say, who did he know?
I was just on the Kiwanis International. We have speakers that are going to be paid like $50,000. So where's my? I mean,
Oh, I want to know where mine is, dude. Because
it's your show. You're
we pay to do this.
Aren't you the one paying me?
I was just going to say, let's see, we do 52 shows a week, a year. We've been on the air for almost 3 years. That's a lot of G's there that we're missing.
Right? Yeah. Well,
Mr.
I'm happy to
Andy,
be here.
Mr. Andy's doing the math right now. I'm in trouble.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, not everybody gets 122,000 views when it comes to the Possibilities Project. Thank you very much. Not everybody gets 90,000 views on a Rose Float show, and not everybody's getting nearly 40,000 views for a show that had Kathy Zemansky and Laura on it last week. This is the show. We need to get that 50 G's. Let's go right now. Gary, come on, cut us in. Give us a little something. Come on.
Make a proposal. I'm sure that we can find. There's no money in our budget, but I'm sure we can find some.
I got a proposal. I know people that can propose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just know that this show reaches people in a special way, and so having you on just sheds a light on the fact that one Kiwanis Club doesn't need to look like another Kiwanis Club. We each fulfill responsibilities and opportunities that are niche to what our communities want and need. And so by you responding to kids with big boxes of money under their bed, that's huge. You know, it's like I used to cringe when I was in high school and we were raising money for our homecoming, because at a certain point I would have $17,000 that would be handed to me and told, when the guys from the fireworks company shows up, you're responsible for giving them this.
Well, that's the whole beauty of Kiwanis. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kiwanis is different from other service organizations, and that we are clubs that meet our local community needs.
Absolutely,
and that's what we do. And there's no mandates coming down from Indianapolis or other things saying you will do this or you won't do that. We have projects like the Eliminate and the Possibility Project you mentioned, and the district level and international. We have Rose Float and those others, but mostly, I mean, that's the beauty of Kiwanis, is clubs in their communities seeing needs and reaching out to them to fulfill those needs, which is what I love about Kiwanis.
Have you ever applied for the Signature Service Project Award?
Have I ever applied for it?
Have your club ever applied? Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't really, because we're a club, we wouldn't qualify. But it is interesting that I'm the chairman of the committee that's going to pick the winner this year in both categories. So,
okay.
I do know all about the Signature Project, but we wouldn't qualify as a club. But our Signature Project as a club is Key Leader.
That's okay.
We put on the Key Leader camp down in Julian and have for 15 years put on that a camp. And Key Leader's going through some transitions right now, so we're working on what the future Key Leader is going to look like. But Key Leader is another thing that the Kids Club puts on. And for those of you in your audience that may not know what Key Leader is, it's a youth training weekend where we bring in high school students, not necessarily just Key Clubbers, but high school students in general, to teach them the concepts of servant leadership. So that's our signature project.
I don't know if you guys saw Kathy Zemansky's comment that they want to build one up in Pennsylvania somewhere. So they're working on kids club up there somewhere. So I don't know if you saw that message. So I thought I would share it. I just want to remind everybody, thank you for tuning in to this week's Kiwanis Connects. Gary Gender is joining us. He was busy on the phone wheeling and dealing, calling his bookies or something early before getting on here with us, doing some KI business with folks back there. And he says he was up since 5 a.m. Like, that's supposed to impress John and I, who's up at like 3 a.m. I mean, come on, Gary's joining the rest of the world.
I'm a little older than you, Aaron, and getting up at 5 is a big deal for me.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you, about 27?
Oh, no. Well, I'm old enough to retire, which I did 2 weeks ago. So
congratulations.
I don't think I'm that far behind you, my friend. I think this baldness up here is deceiving my age.
Well,
I just know both of you are older than me.
I don't have women pawning all over my shirt like you did at the last for the Calneva Foundation. So
that's right.
Thank you for that. You raised a lot of money for us, and we really appreciate it.
Hey, listen, anything I can do. If you want my skivvies next time, listen, if it's worth it, let's, whatever works.
Well, I'll leave that up to our current president, Robert Larson. He's I got my job done. I got your shirt. That's all I need.
Exactly. But you know what? It's stuff like that, though, that makes things fun. When you do stuff off the cuff, that's what makes what we do so much fun and unique. All right. So I just, again, thank everybody for joining us. Put your comments in the chat room. Put your comments into your YouTube if you're watching us there. No phones today. John is actually kind of watching the board from his home studio today, so no phone calls, but drop your comments in there. If you did miss the beginning of the show, I just want to recap this. We spent the first segment talking about the wildfires, what's going on. Val provided some great resource information about where you get some food and Wi-Fi connections, and then there's places you can go to if you need a roof over your head. Check it out. Those are actually been posted on her Facebook page as well as the Kiwanis Connects page. Worst case scenario, at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Just go right back to this video and just rewatch the beginning of the show, and you'll be able to catch it all there. It'll be on Roku as well. So please, everybody out there, please continue to be safe. And I know once everything settles down, the Kiwanis clubs of the area will probably take a much more active approach to what's happening there. I digress because I just wanted to recap for everybody what they missed, and hopefully they'll never miss again.
There you go.
Anyway, so all right, back to you, Val, regarding kids.
So what kind of things do clubs need to look out for if they're trying to form a kids club? What kind of advice would you give to, say, Pennsylvania as they're trying to set up their kids club?
Yeah, I would say, and I was going to say to Kathy, if you need any help or have any questions, you can certainly contact me. And I know Kathy has my contact information, but anybody else can contact me, garyjander@gmail.com. But we can talk about it. But if you're wanting to be a kids club, you want to have members that are connected with Key Club and with Circle K and other clubs, because there are very unique circumstances that you have to follow when you're dealing with youth in any state, not just California, and how you're going to do that. And your members have to be willing to do background checks and all that kind of stuff because of the level that you're going to be supporting them. But mostly it's just another Kiwanis club. You're going to get your 15 new members, because that's our requirement for a new club. You got to get 15 new members, not 15 already in Kiwanis members who are RAs. You want those people in your club because they know what's going on, but you need to go out and find 15 other people in your community to qualify as a club. And, and then plug in. We've got two very old clubs that are Kids Club, Kids San Diego and Kids North San Diego, that have a lot of people in them that are able to help you and answer questions for you and help you in how you set it up. Don't rely just on working with Key Club. This is the second thing, is don't rely just on working Key Clubs, because you'll get bored with just working with SOP, because they go in I'm sorry, I was distracted by the little things down here.
It happens.
But
Follow the little red line.
yeah, it's like, but you plan to do other things that Kiwanis clubs do. Plan to have outside service projects. We chose foster youth, and we work with the Marines here. So we have other projects. We also took on Key Leader as our signature project. You need a signature project. Don't think that Key Club or Circle K are going to be your signature project, because they're doing their own things. You're just acting as a fiscal agent. That'll help you with membership and growing the club beyond just doing that.
I just had an epiphany kind of thought.
Okay.
I know it happens. And no caffeine has been in his cup. My thought is, we have so many Circle K alum and so many Key Club alum out there that are 5, 10, 15 years out, who've never thought about coming back into Kiwanis. This is a great opportunity to recruit some of those folks that were phenomenal Key Club leaders a decade ago to be a part of this club and be able to move it forward.
I think so. I think it's a great opportunity to build clubs. I mean, most of our club here in San Diego is made up of people, with the exception of Donna and I, are made up of people who are Key Club alum or Circle K alum or past internet. We have a past international trustee. One of our founding members was a past Circle K governor. So it's a great opportunity for them to give back. it is a fiscal responsibility. So you need to understand the idea of money and how money works. But I think everybody does that. So yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great recruiting tool to bring some of those people back in to work um, to work with our youth.
Yeah, and we're not looking at the ones that graduated 5 years ago. We're looking for people that are really being welcomed back to the family, because I don't think a 21 or 23-year-old is probably your target for that kind of leadership. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but I mean, those folks coming right out of Circle K, or those that elect not to go into Circle K and want to join a Kiwanis Club, they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of good ideas that help, and they're more closely connected to the youth because they just came out of that. So they make pretty good members. The drawback is that anybody just coming out of college is working on a career. So you got to really be flexible in how you approach them. We do hybrid meetings so that people that can't, get it physically in a car and come to a location can still participate and help us with what we're doing. We also like to meet in person. I think meeting in person is extremely important. I think you get a lot more out of it, but you got to be flexible. You got to be open to ideas, and that's true. That's true of any Kiwanis Club that you're looking at, even a geographically placed Kiwanis Club. Be mindful of your members and what works for them and what enhances them and what encourages them and make them feel valuable in your club. And like I said in the beginning, a kids club is still a Kiwanis Club.
Yeah,
it's really no different than a Kiwanis Club. It just has a purpose of being the fiscal manager. The third thing is you do need to form a nonprofit foundation to manage that money. And you can do so because you're working with youth, and Key Club International is a 501c3. So you can form a 501c3 foundation that allows you to bring their money in and manage their money through a 501c3. There's a little more work involved because you have to follow the forms related to that, and you have to stay up to date with your state requirements for 501c3s or charitable organizations. But it opens up so many more doors. You can get sponsors, you can get people to give you money, you can get people to give you donations, and all these other things that you can only get as a 501c3 versus just being a Kiwanis Club and having a Kiwanis Foundation. I mean, you may have restrictions on how you can do all that. So those are the three main things. And we can certainly help you. We've been through that process more than once about the foundation issues. And so we know, at least on the U.S. national level, what's involved in the timeframes. Maybe not so much out of California. California has some very strict rules, but I'm sure other states do too as well.
All right, we're going to put a break on there real quickly at that point, and we're going to step aside for our last break of the show because we still have so much to do coming up in the tail end. Wrapping up with Gary, mental health moment from Val, and of course, Kiwanis Wow moments, and of course, as always, the ever popular dun dun dun. We'll be right back. Kiwanis Connects, more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Can't wait for those.
At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support. Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. During the break, I saw a message come through on my MSN feed, some of the TV and movie landmark locations that were destroyed by the fire. Everything from the high school that was in the Carrie movie to just other things. I just reshared it on my Facebook page. So listen, everybody's supporting everybody around here. Anyway, so interesting article. I just saved it. Go check it out if you want to, read some terrible news and some more stuff. Anyway, all right, Gary Jander joins us. We're talking about kids, the Kid Kiwanis Club down there in San Diego, 15 years in existence, some new ones coming, and a lot more happening. So take it away, Val.
I've actually had the opportunity to go to the Kids Club meetings, and I'm not sure if you're still president, Gary, but I had the opportunity to be a part of it. And so when you were talking about before the break that you have to have opportunities to be in person and not, your club members want to be there, because as president of that club, you really made it fun, and other members made the meetings fun. And I think that's one of the things that carries across for successful clubs. And so can you tell us when your club meets so that maybe some of the people can actually zoom in and see you guys in action?
Sure. We meet the second and fourth Monday of every month, and we meet at a restaurant called Emiliano's, which is where we met when you came. There is, if you come to our meeting, there is alcohol involved, so I'll warn you now. We are an adult club, and I'm glad you thought I was fun as president, because I'm the weakest link in fun at our club. Jeff Tobias and Val Crawford and some of the other people, it's all about fun. And we think that every Kiwanis meeting should be fun. I mean, people should want to be there and be connected and be a part of it. If you're not having fun or doing it that way, call us. We'll give you some ideas. We do have a rule against pleather. No pleather is allowed at our meetings, because we do dress up meetings. Occasionally we'll have a thematic dress up meeting, and we come dressed up because, that's how we want to kick things off, because we got it like that.
You needed to let Mom Flo know, cosplay was not a thing when she was a kid, but I think that if you let her know that she could dress up like Bugs Bunny one day.
Well, we'll have to have a Looney Tunes theme night, and let her come as Bugs Bunny or whatever she wants to do. I'll suggest that to Val, our current president, Val Crawford, our current president, about that. But I think when she has been to a couple of our meetings, and I think Mama Flo thinks we're pretty weird.
She thinks you're weird, but she loves it, and she's always telling me you need to be more like them.
Oh, well, that's good.
In my home club. So I'm just letting you know, Mama Flo has thrown me under the bus.
Yeah, well,
several times.
She's always welcome, as anybody is welcome at our club meetings. We send out an announcement for the Zoom link, and I'll certainly put that out for our next meeting, which is Monday.
Very cool.
All right. Again, the website now is scrolling on the bottom if you want to learn more and see about the Kids Club in San Diego. It's kids with a Y, KYDS, sandiego.org. It's there on your screen. So you can certainly check out what they've got going on there. We're down to about 10 minutes or so left.
Let me say this about the website. Can I say this about the website?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
If you would like to join our club and help us with that website, we would welcome the help. the member that used to do that for us decided she was going to go to medical school. I don't know what she was thinking. My daughter. So if you have skills, we'd love to have you join us. Thank you. I appreciate the interruption.
Is that your disclaimer as to why the Division Cal-Neva District Convention from 2018 is available now?
Yeah, well, we just put that up there last week, so
okay,
we're trying to get caught up. Actually, there's a lot of talk about how do we access it. We don't even. I'm not even sure we have the passwords.
So, it's one of those zombies.
But it's good. It gives a general overview of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And we don't meet on Fridays. We meet on Mondays. So.
Oh, okay. Cross that out, folks, on your screen and change it to Friday when the website pops up. It'll be perfectly.
Yeah, if I'd known you were going to put that up there before, I would have sent you a message and said, "Don't."
Well, I actually, out of kindness, Gary, I emailed that to you yesterday, or I Facebook messaged you about that information, and I didn't hear back. I know you're busy. Hey, listen, stuff happens, but like you said, it's a point of information. People will go there. Not a big deal. It's, once you figure out how to get in, easy to fix, I'm sure.
I actually did respond, but I misunderstood. I thought you were telling me the division website was bad.
Oh,
now,
no.
Now I understand what you were talking about.
Yes,
so
yes, it's okay. My wife doesn't understand when I talk either, so you should feel right at home.
Yeah,
all right, with that, we're going to change gears. So, Doc Val, I'm going to turn it over to you for a little, maybe a little de-stressing, along with, of course, your wonderful Kiwanis Wow moments.
All right. So I don't think we have an intro to the mental health moments. But my mental health moment for everyone loops back to how we started our show today and talking about the fires. I can speak from experience about being evacuated. So one of the things I wanted to share with everyone that's out there, evacuations can be the most stressful cause mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. So even though some people may not be evacuated right now, they're on evacuation warning throughout the Los Angeles area. And so I want you to make sure that you're supporting your friends who are under evacuation. You're supporting yourself if you're feeling some PTSD, and some ways that you can do that is practice some self-care. Prioritize your health and do some of those things. As I shared with a friend of mine who's evacuated into a hotel, the water is included in the price of the hotel. So stand in the shower as long as you need, because if you need to cry, you're crying in the shower, it works. But make sure that you are able to express your emotions and deal with what you need. Connect with others. Stay in touch with your family and friends. Don't just hold it all in thinking you're all alone. There are so many people out there, especially your fellow Kiwanians, if you're a Kiwanian. And if you're not a Kiwanian yet, there are Kiwanis clubs in your area that want to reach out and help you. So stay connected. Find the resources like we gave you earlier today. The LA Times has just published an insert that is also electronic, that has more resources than it's possible for us to give on the show. And most importantly, take care of yourself and take care of your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't lose yourself, as hard as it seems like at times within everything. Just make sure you focus on you as well. Well said. We're going to separate that out into its own segment, hopefully starting next week, so we don't do it on top of Kiwanis Wow moments. But you know what? Maybe doing stress reliever before my bad dad jokes probably isn't a bad idea either. You know what I mean? All right, it's time for some Val's Kiwanis Wow moments. Hit it, John.
Woo! I love it. I feel like Wonder Woman, like I told you. It's just like, woo! I can share with you that in the past 4 days, I've received about 400 emails and texts and phone calls. And they have all been related to, how can I help? And that has been the biggest emotional wow for me, of receiving phone calls from Maryland and receiving phone calls from the Philippines, or not just a text, but a literal phone call from the Philippines to say, you have helped us so much. How can we help you? And the biggest wow for me was the Kiwanis Club of Huntington Beach. And I'm giving a shout out to Dr. Van Vu and Sean Woods because they stepped up within 12 hours and said, we know that there's lots of resources, but what can we do to make sure that people know that they're cared about? And so they developed in their club a care kit that they're handing out. They're working with club presidents in Altadena and Pasadena and all of the cities that are impacted to give just a little bit more. So to me, they are the superheroes. And like I said earlier, Kiwanians are usually at our best when the situations are at their worst. So thank you guys.
Well said. They are indeed a superhero.
A superhero.
There you go. Good job. We used to have the saying in Vegas, and John can back me up with this, because over the years, Vegas has had their serious issues with incidents. The 1 October, and then the 2 police officers that were gunned down at CC's Pizzeria and whatnot. And people don't think of Vegas as a tight-knit community. They just think of it's the playland. But when situations arise, that really gives you the true colors of what people are about, really. And I mean that positively. People come out and support each other in ways that you would never think would happen unless, unfortunately, given an incident that would bring people out to show their best. I just wish people, when they are in the habit of helping during an incident, that they would stay in that habit without an incident to help others. So it's just
I think that's the definition of Kiwanis.
There you go.
We're helping every day, 365.
That's it.
Yeah, I know that's how I meet. In my world, in your world, we meet people like Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are figuring out how to help every single day in ways that are needed, not how we think is needed. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Oh, please, grammar police, do not correct me on Facebook.
Well, speaking of grammar police, it is that time with about 2.5 minutes to go. John, it's time for some bad dad jokes. You betcha. Just remember, don't kill the messenger. Here we go. First one. What do Yetis get from sitting on the ice too long? What do Yetis get for sitting on the ice too long? They get Polaroids. I should just stop while I'm ahead. I nailed the first one, and I should be done. But no, I'm going to press my luck. Here you go. Here's another one. What do you say to a hitchhiker with one leg? What do you say? Gary must have an idea.
Hop in.
Hop in. There you go. John knew it. There you go.
I didn't want to give it away because that's the first thing.
Oh, you can answer.
If you know the answer, Gary, please, by all means, you are welcome. What does Charles Dickens keep in his spice rack? Charles Dickens, he's a chef. What does he keep in his spice rack? He keeps the best of times, the worst of times. All right, I'll keep going. No. Hey, here's one for you hunters. What side of the duck has the most feathers?
The outside.
There you go, the outside. Yay, oh, my goodness gracious. Here you go. What's a zebra? I should have given a disclaimer before this.
I'm not touching that one.
Don't touch that one, John. What's a zebra? It's 26 sizes larger than an abra. Remember, don't kill the messenger, folks. I'm just reading them out of a book. That's right. Hey, what's the best way to carve wood? Val's still thinking about this. Val, you'll never be able to look at a zebra ever again now, will you? No, is Andy laughing? That's all I really care about. Andy, are you laughing somewhere? All right, that's good.
I hear crickets.
What's that?
Sound is crickets.
I know.
Here's crickets.
I'm sorry. Well, then maybe you need to turn your volume on, Gary. What's the best way to carve wood? What's the best way to carve wood? Whittle by whittle. Last but not least, mercifully, I'm really kind of walking the tightrope again. So here you go. What kind of teacher and I know we have a lot of teachers out there in the Kiwanis world. What kind of teacher never farts in public? What kind of teacher never farts in public? A private tutor. Good.
Oh, my inner 5-year-old just jumped right on out. Thank you
I
very
know.
much.
Kathy says her husband David liked the whittle by whittle joke. That also sounded like a little kid. All right. We are up against it mercifully. No, oh, Kathy, no, I know. All right.
So
Gary,
I think it's going to be hard for Gary to follow up with this.
I know.
But Gary, what are your last thoughts that you want to share with people today before we sign off?
I don't know. After that zebra joke, I'm kind of like still a little stunned.
Listen, give me some support for that one, will you, please?
Well, I mean, some of those were pretty funny. I mean, they usually are. But I just want to say to everybody, look, if you are at all interested in the concept of Kids Club, please reach out to me or Doc Val or whoever. We can get you more information. It's garyjander@gmail.com. Just reach out to me and I'll see what I can do about getting you support to get that started. And thanks again for having me on. It's always a lot of fun to be here. I enjoyed a lot. Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. Always a pleasure. All right, Doc Val, final thoughts.
My heart and soul goes out to all the people that are facing major crisis across the world right now. It seems like it's one thing after another. We have the earthquakes in Nepal that have affected many of our partner countries, and we have the fires going on in LA. We have the floods and the cold and everything. And the best thing that we can all do is give each other strength and support, and keep looking out for each other. So, Aaron.
All right. Yes, ma'am. With that, listen again, everybody out there in Cali, please continue to be safe. Check in with us. Let us know that you're all okay out there and that you're not alone in spirit. We are there to support you. All right. Stay connected to our social media pages so you find out what we have in store for you next week. If after those bad jokes, I'm invited back, then I'll be lucky. All right. With that, everybody, please be kind, everybody. Why? We are all we have. And with that, I call this show adjourned.